life is different and with more beautiful than it is on this side. Alas, the valleys beyond the mountains differ only in commonplace ways from one familiar ones. He who has not understood the enigmatic two-faced sphinx of being here on this earth must not expect the answers to the great question merely by virtue of having died. There, as here, he will behold but one of the two faces that we know as life and death. Only he who has seen both at once, reading the riddle, is enthroned upon the Sphinx. The various religious the various religions do not help us as much in this inquiry. Yet, they offer to give us definite information as to what happens after death, and it may indeed be worth our while to scan what they have to say, since much truth lies beneath their unfortunate discrepant accounts. The very discrepancies should put us on guard against taking any of their accounts too literally, and should force us to penetrate beneath the surface. This is the more necessary. This is the more necessary because the ignorance and cunning of priesthoods, the need for edification, and it may be added, terrorization of the laymen have mixed that truth with so much falsehood that only he who has an independent key can hope to find his way through the labyrinth. Thus, Hindus and Buddhists have filled their sacred books with fairy tales of men reborn as frogs and lizards. The word fairy tales is used deliberately since those stories, false if taken literally, have, like fairy tales, deep symbolic meanings. While Christians appear to hold two incompatible beliefs at once, one Christian belief is that many immediately after death, they either ascend to the joys of heaven or descend to be burnt forever in hell. The other belief held at the same time is that they will sleep quietly in their graves until an event in the distant future known as the Day of Judgment, after which the matter of heaven or hell will be decided. Although our holy religion, whichever it may be, teaches us exactly what is going to happen to us, our quite unholy hearts secretly believe none of it. They may give an outer assent, but that is inevitably compensated by an inner denial. Let us leave the churches and turn to the super spiritualists, those who, with the aid of mediums, profess to put us in touch with the spirits of the dead themselves. Here, we find ourselves in a different atmosphere. The ancient scriptures carved with the records of vanished seers are gone, and we are shown into the darkened room in which a medium, sometimes dubious antecedents, goes into more or less of a trance, and usually by automatic speech or writing imparts messages and information which purport to come from one's deceased uncle, or alternatively from Oliver Cromwell of Julius Caesar. It is all very clear and definite, at least it can be if the medium be a good one, and if we have lost the somber dignity of the temple, we seem to have gained something of a vivid matter-of-factness of the laboratory, or at least of the popular science magazine. And this is an unfortunate aspect of the business. Do these teachings really come from the discarnate spirits on whom they are fathered? What evidence have we in support of the claim? This question has been learnedly argued in many books, but in the end, all we can say is that we do not know, and it seems that no one else really knows either. What is certain is that accounts given through different mediums are at least as discrepant with each other as are the teachings of the different religions. that they often bear the stamp of the medium's own unconscious mind, and that none of the ingenious tests devised by psychic researchers seem able to close the loopholes through which doubt may creep. Moreover, there is a curious psychic unhealthiness that pervades the seance room and atmosphere to which no doubt no one can accustom and cease to notice, as one can get used to the smell of bad drains at one's own risk. It is not intended to suggest that all mediums are given to trickery. Among their number are men and women of high idealism and great sincerity. Moreover, when all that is fraudulent has been set aside, psychical research, uh, psychical research has brought to light many genuine phenomena that are extremely interesting and quite unknown to orthodox science. So interesting and revolutionary are these facts that most orthodox scientists will go to any length rather than admit their existence. Nevertheless, the essential spiritist hypothesis, namely that these supernatural manifestations are at work of spirits of the dead, remain in the opinion of careful judges unapproved. The physical sciences deal solely with the physical bodies and can therefore tell us in technical language only what we already know, namely that our bodies are eaten by worms or burnt in fire and vanish utterly. As for the academic philosophy, if anyone can find anything definite in its thick volumes of learned ifs and buts, he will be more fortunate than the present writer has been. There only remains psychology, but this science is still tethered by the heel of psychological concepts, nerves, brain structures, and the like. And it is only just beginning to approach the psyche and psychic causation as independent realities. Is there then no direction in which we may turn for information? Is there no science which will help us? There is, but it is a science of which there are few serious students and still fewer masters. It is the most ancient of all the sciences, known by many names, from which we may select those of yoga, occultism, and magic as being the best known. Despite all the books about it, it remains forever secret, since it is the science of the soul. Its instrument, its instruments and experiments, no less than its data and conclusions, are all within the soul and must be sought there and silenced by each man for himself. If then we attempt to render a few of its conclusions in terms of our shadowy intellectual concepts, it is not with the idea that such translations can conclude knowledge, but rather with the hope that even such poor and inadequate sketches may lure some reader into undertaking the voyage of exploration for himself. Let us state at the outset that the soul has not once, but many times put in these garments of mortality, these coats of skin that we all know as our bodies. It therefore does not have to speculate as to what may happen after the body's death. It knows by it by experience. The soul, we repeat, knows what lies beyond the horizon of physical life, because it has been there, or to speak more accurately, because even now it has its dwelling place not merely in the light of setting suns, but in that mystic day between the rim of the world, that day which is night to us because we see only with the eyes of the body, that which is night to all beings, that is day to the seer, as the Bhagavad Gita puts it. Conversely, that which is day to all beings is but night to the seer. Let us seek the soul. Let us then seek the soul within its cave, and ask of its wisdom. The mortal. What happens after death? The soul remains silent. The mortal. I ask again, what happens after death? The soul. Who are you who speak? The mortal. I am just a man. My name imports nothing, for I speak on behalf of all my brothers. We who, like gladiators, are about to die, salute thee, Caesar, who art reputed deathless and a god. The soul, who is it that dies? The mortal. This body dies and is no more. There is those among us who hold that with it all is at the end. Earth to earth, air to air, there is no life, but what is in the body, the soul. Yet, when you sleep and dream, your body is unconscious, though you still see and hear, feel joy and pain. Who is this you that sees and hears without the body's help? The mortal. I know that you would say that in dream we have experience in a subtle body which also survives death. That is a superstition of the past which arose when men knew nothing of the true nature of dreams. But now we know that we are caused by repressed desires which in our walking life are denied expressions. The soul. You are entangled in a web of words. Do things become different because you give them different names? Oh, that's a bar. In those past ages, which you so despise, it was also taught that the dream body was the dream body of desire. Yes, of desires of which the waking ego was not conscious. Have you not heard of Vasana, the unforgotten longings of the past? Your eyes are blind by the shadows that you call material things, so that you see no reality save what is physical. I ask again, what is the you who dreams? The mortal. Whatever it is not I, myself. For those desires that find expression in my dreams are those who have been rejected by my personality. They seem to belong to a being that is wider and deeper than my being, one whose memory is greater than my memory, and whose standards and judgments are not my own. Whose are the dreams? Shall I not say those of a great unconscious life, in which myself is but a patch of foam, a wave, a passing form that proves upon the sea which gave it birth? The soul. Even against your will, you see the truth, save that you wrongly term that life unconscious, because, forsooth, you are not conscious of it. I tell you that nowhere in the universe is there life without consciousness, and nowhere consciousness that is not life. Your personality is indeed a pattern on the surface of that sea, a pattern which by law has come to be, which changes hourly and in time will cease. It was the winds of that desire that brought that wave, that pattern, into being. They speed it on its course, changing it every moment, and only when those winds grow calm and cease, not at what you call death, will it subside once more into the sea. If you believe yourself to be that wave, then you will surely die and be no more. For patterns ever change, giving birth to new. In truth, you die at every moment and not at death alone. Since for 2 moments you are not the same, but change and change forever. Are you so pleased with the pattern you call yourself that you would have it endure for all eternity? The mortal. By no means, but I will perfect the pattern and in perfected form enjoy eternal life, the soul. And you may. But then you must identify yourself with with that unchanging being out of which all patterns rise. Moreover, no patterns are perfect in and for themselves, but only the great pattern of the whole. I am that whole, and therefore, if you seek eternal life, it is in me and not in any finite part that you must live. Side note, the impression of anything, vasana, is the impression of anything remaining unconsciously in the mind. All right. The mortal. But I, it seems that life you promised me will have no longer be myself. That I must go out as the flame of a candle, and my precious uniqueness belong in something which I cannot feel to be myself. If it is self you seek, the soul, if it is self you seek, your precious uniqueness, as you call it, then you are right. Do what you will, that self must change and pass. It cannot stand forever. But I tell you that the self to which you cling is a source of fear to you, the hard and knotted root of all your sorrow. Why should you cling to what brings naught to you but tears? And why with foolish owl eyes, with foolish owl-like eyes, do you see only the passing wave and not the water of which the wave is made? Well, know that you are the water, not the wave, and all your grief is gone. You are immortal, the mortal, perhaps, but still, your immortality seems cold to me. What of my memory? The record of my joys and griefs, my loves and hates, my struggles and failures? What is the immortality in which all that has happened to me, all that I've done, is lost? All I have striven for of good, all I have seen of beauty, will be lost as if it had never been? The soul, not so. For memory remains in me. Goodness and the beauty can exist in me alone, for both are aspects of the one harmonious whole, not of the wearing parts. Wow, you are in self-greed, where you are in a self, you catch but fitful glimpses of the wondrous pattern that is in me. I am the tree of which you are the leaves. I sent you forth and fed you with my sap, to breathe the sunlight and the air of the summer. You fall and wither, but the air and light you gathered is not lost. It enters into me and lives on in me, becoming that lifeblood with which, after the night of winter, you go forth again. Mortal, not so. Indeed, it is another leaf that is put forth next year. And so it seems it will not be I who am born again, but someone new, an heir to me, perhaps, but not myself, the soul. Yourself? Yourself? Can you not lose that self? Have you not heard the ancient saying, he who would save his soul shall lose it? That's deep. Those words came from one who knew me to the full and therefore was able to say, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. All who have known me have known this, and in various words have striven to teach their fellows. All that is true, good, and beautiful in you shall live eternally in me, as all that is useful in the food you eat lives on in you. Why should you seek to keep the worthless dross, the mortal? Words, words, words. I come to you seeking to know my fate, and you, like the oracles of the ancient world, put me off with pictures and riddling words. I do not understand your ways, your leaves, your food. You will exhaust the universe with metaphors, and still I do not understand. I do not accept your meaning, the soul. There, you have spoken. You do not accept the truth. Man, that's deep. As for my words, what would you have of me? I spoke the truth first in silence, but you heard it not. You have you would have words. And what are words but pictures? Even those abstract words of which you nowadays make so much use are in the end but pictures taken from your sense experience. And sense experience, as even you know must, is mortal. How can yet if you would be if you will but use your words as windows and look through them, not build them as a wall to hide behind. Even through those words, you may behold the wordless truth, the mortal. Will you not tell me plainly what takes place at death? The soul, plainly, I told you. Now listen now again. When you were young, there was a life in you that rose within your being as the sap within a tree. Your body grew, and with it, you grew your mind, till, like the summer sun, it reached mid heaven, and behold, the earth spread out before its gaze. King like it gazed, warming with its own glory the world of things, and living in that warmth. But there it could not stay, for all things change, and that which rises up must fall again. Slowly that ebb set in. The life that warmed the things again withdrew. Your body hardened and grew cold in its recesses. In its recesses, your mind, though with regret, retired within itself, turning its back upon the world without, to live in its own memories, and were it wise to seek infinity within its own cool depths. Is it not so? And is it not for this that you have come to me in search of knowledge of the land of death, a land for which you cared but little, while the tide of life flowed outward from your eyes? The mortal, your words are true. Say on. The soul, that life of which I speak, that life which is yourself, sinks down into your heart until at length your body grows all cold and moves but feebly, answering no more the rudder of your will. Now comes the end. It ceases. It is dead. The mind, the mortal. What of the mind? Does it not also cease? The soul, patience. The mind has turned within itself. It holds no further traffic within the world of outer beings, but lives alone, feeding on its rich store of images and thoughts, as even you would know if you had studied in that hall of learning that you men call dreams. Wow, that's deep. I'm going to say that again. Peace, patience. The mind has turned within itself. It holds no further traffic with the words of our of it holds traffic with the world of outer beings, but lives alone, feeding on its rich store of images and thoughts, as even you would know if you had studied in that hall of learning that you men call dreams. Enter that hall and study now if you will learn the deathlessness of life, the deathlessness of life, the mortal. You mean that after death the mind is wrapped in dreams? What are those dreams? The soul. What are all dreams? The tissue of desire, a web of which your desires weave from the fiber of your outer life. Your acts in life are motivated by desire. As your desires have been, so shall be now your dreams. Here are those hells with flames of lust and hatred, of which your sacred books told tales to frighten children, true tales, if rightly understood. Here, too, are heavens of peace and pleasure, but all are transient, passing like shadows, as the stored up energy which called them forth discharges and grows calm, the mortal, and then the soul, ease after toil, port after stormy seas. Deeper and deeper sinks the life within. The zone of dreams is past, and the boat of the soul enters on a great calm. It was yourself in life who made those dreams. Yes, you who made your heavens and your hells. How long they lasted and of what sort they were was all decided by the course you steered in life. Once you have entered the night that is below the world's horizons, your course is set. The dreams can be unrolled, yet long and short, happy and sorrowful. They too, like all things finite, have their end, and all is peace. The mortal. The peace of utter oblivion, the soul. Oblivion of the forces of desire. Wow, that's deep. Before that peace is entered, the body of desires will die, as as dies the outer form that is your body now, and even the desire itself will sleep. As sleeps, as sleeps the life hidden in winter seeds, to wake again in season. Therefore, it is that he whose life on earth has been given over entirely to desires can know but little of the nature of the peace, but sleeps in blissfulness, dark unconsciousness, like dreamless slumbers after storm tossed dreams. He who on earth has raised his head above the turbid waters of desire and sought the vision here of truth and beauty will find no dark unconscious cloud of sleep, but a bright light in which shines forth all he but glimpsed before. On earth, the broken arcs; in heaven, the perfect round. All men thus come to me, as all men like nightly come in dreamless sleep. But though I shelter all within my being, only those who awake have been my face can know me consciously during the night, whether of sleep or death. But to all who enter my being is being one flash of light. Who enter my being is given one flash of light in which, like pictures of the past, I'm rolling before the mental eye of him who drowns. There comes a vision of the endless thread of life, weaving its pattern on the loom of the day and night. All those past days, that flowing stream of lives, endlessly stretching to the very rim of time, shine for a moment as this latest day is added to their number. In their light, the mind sees something of the purpose of the whole, and thus of me, who am the life in all. Then the veil falls once more. Midnight is past. After the ebb, the flow begins anew. The stream of life, re energized by contact with its source, flows forth once more to seek the light of day. The mortal. Then we are born again, the soul. Rebirth there is, but whether he who is reborn is you is for yourself to judge. The stream of life is one, ebbing and flowing, weaving through many lives with other streams, the pattern of the whole. That stream which was yourself, which, if you like, is still yourself, flows forth, entering the zone of dreams. In that zone, desires awake more and fashions for itself a body of desires that is the heir of those it left behind before it entered peace. This is what you call karma, others' fate, guided by those desires. It seeks and finds a human pair who can provide it with a mortal body fitted for its needs judged by me, acting as you would say, instinctively within the stream. Thus the life mingles with the two parental streams, enters their heart in the new forming body of a child, and so is born to see another day, with an inheritance of countless lives, but with a new body, memory, and brain, the mortal. So memory is lost? I feared as much. The soul. Memory remains in me alone. The memory of lives too numerous to count. That memory is yours if, during life, you learn to enter me. If not, I keep it for you till we meet again once more. Your brain is anew, and in it will be stored those memories alone in which it has a part, so that you start once more on your adventure, brave and new, unburdened by the load of memories too great for you to hear, for you to bear. Yet the stored wisdom of your past is always with you, for it remains in me who am I, who am in you. If you will listen for my voice within your heart, that voice will guide you so that in the maze of life, your course will be shaped by the wisdom springing from you, know not where. A wisdom that is not your own, but mine, and yet which is yourself. For you are me. Thus does the cycle of the nights and days turn on. Until the pattern is complete, the pattern blends with pattern in a vast and wondrous whole, too great for you to grasp with finite mind. And now, farewell. In all things seek for me, who am your friend, your life, your very self. He who finds me sees light within the darkness, life in the midst of death, joy in the heart of sorrow, rest on the wheel of change, love in the midst of hate. Mortal, tell me then who thou art. Where shall I find thee, the soul? Who or what I am cannot be told. Words may describe yourself, but never me who am beyond their grasp. As for the path by which I may be found, I speak. It is for you to seize my meaning. Seek me in the dark cave within your heart. There is the night that is the heart of day. Seek out the day that is the heart of night. Hear without ears and see without your eyes. Then, in the hidden depths, will you behold an altar floating in the air without support. On it there shines a flame that burns without a wick or fuel. Enter that flame, and although self must die, find me. That is the end of chapter 4, The Forgotten Land. Shalom, family.